The best time to visit Charleston really depends on what you're looking to do. My recommendation, if you're renting a vehicle, is to get one that's considered high clearance. So Charleston has a phenomenal rooftop bar scene. You're listening to the Coastal with Kelly podcast, your go-to podcast for waterfront travel destinations, coastal living, and ocean-friendly businesses. I'm your host, Kelly Dabrowski. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Coastal with Kelly podcast. This week, I'm so excited because we're talking about one of my favorite destinations of all time, Charleston, South Carolina, otherwise known as the Holy City. And if you've never heard of that nickname, it's because there are over 400 churches that dot the skyline, makes it, pretty unique to look at. So Charleston itself has a lot of rich history. Some of it is obviously devastating and sad because it is one of the former trade capitals of enslaved people in the 1800s. It's also, we also have some history dating back to Blackbeard the Pirate. I have a blog post that gets a little bit more into that. So if you want to learn more about the history itself, there's some resources that I'll link below. But needless to say, there's a lot of history and a lot of really beautiful architecture in the city. But it's also perfect for a girls' weekend. So we're going to talk about the perfect things to do for a weekend with the girls in Charleston. So when people say Charleston, South Carolina, they usually do mean just Charleston Peninsula. So that's what you'll typically think of, walking along the waterfront, seeing some of the signature features like the Pineapple Fountain. So Charleston itself has a bunch of neighborhoods like south of Broad, the French Quarter. King Street is really the shopping district. There is another guide that you'll be able to access on that blog to get a better sense of the different neighborhoods for once you actually go to Charleston. So because Charleston is a walkable city, but they don't have incredible public transportation, so they don't have like a metro system, I always recommend staying somewhere downtown so that you can park in a parking garage and just walk everywhere. But if you want to prioritize having beach access during your stay, then definitely stay in one of the beach towns. So to get to Charleston, you'll fly into the Charleston International Airport, which is in North Charleston, and it's only about 20 minutes from downtown, so you can easily Uber or Lyft, but I would recommend renting a vehicle so you can explore everything Charleston has to offer. That way too, you can stay downtown in Charleston and then still be able to drive to some of the beach towns, but you can really take advantage of the cute, quaint nature of the downtown part of Charleston. You also can take public transit, so there is a Carta bus system that can get you to and from the airport. You can order those passes online. So the best time to visit Charleston really depends on what you're looking to do. So Charleston has a bunch of really fun events and festivals, so you might want to plan a visit around that. Charleston in the summer is very humid, it's very muggy, it's pretty much like any southern coastal city, but that doesn't mean that you can't have a good time. Just keep in mind that you're going to be warm walking around. So I would recommend going in the spring or late summer you could get away with. So something like the last time I went was in early October, like end of September into early October, and that was a pretty nice time to go. But again, just make sure that you're paying attention also to hurricane season if you're visiting Charleston June through November, because that's the peak time that the east coast of the US gets hurricanes. So keep that in mind as you're planning your travel. Some things to know before visiting Charleston: the city floods frequently. My recommendation if you're renting a vehicle is to get one that's considered high clearance. So something like a Subaru Crosstrek or a Jeep Wrangler. It's like anytime after a really heavy rainstorm, you're probably going to get some flooding right along.
I always look and feel my best after I've spent about 3 days in the ocean, and when I can't make it there, I reach for Osea. Their key ingredients are sourced from the ocean, so after using their luxurious products, you end up feeling like you just got back from a seaside spa. If you're also excited to support a women-founded, ocean-positive brand, use code CWK10 to save at checkout.
The waterfront streets, and Google Maps does a great job of giving you warnings about coastal flooding. You'll also want to get ready to dress up. Charleston is one of those cities that women are always just dressed up and looking phenomenal, but it's the perfect opportunity to wear like your favorite sundresses. And if you're looking to do some shopping, I'm going to get into that later, some recommendations for where to shop with your girls for this girls trip. Now, when you're thinking of what to pair with those sundresses, do keep in mind there are cobblestone streets that you'll be walking on, so heels can be challenging. I recommend either bringing a convertible pair of heels or bringing sneakers and heels, whatever you want to wear, but just keep that in mind. Also remember, there is a college within Charleston, so just keep that in mind if you're trying to visit around spring break. And then another thing is that Charleston has a phenomenal rooftop bar scene. So even if you're not drinking, a lot of the bars will have mocktails on their menu, but just take advantage of the rooftop bar scene. So I wanted to get into a couple things to do while visiting the city. If it's your first time visiting, I definitely recommend a walking tour so that you can get a better sense of the city and like highlights of what you should be looking at. And also just honestly too, just to understand and respect the history, because there's a lot that has happened there. Walk and Talk Charleston is ranked one of the top walking tours. I'll link their website down below. If you are a foodie, then I actually would recommend taking some of their food walking tours. So there's Charleston Culinary Tours and Bulldog Tours are two of the top recommendations. for those food tours, which usually last anywhere between 2 and 4 hours. And they also have really fun things like haunted food tours, low country favorites. They have a bunch of different types of tours, so take advantage of that. If you love a waterfront tour, then I recommend a harbor tour. There are a bunch of businesses that you can use to do a waterfront tour. So whether you're looking to do a private sunset sailing tour, whether you're looking to do a harbor dinner tour or doing some dolphin watching, there's going to be a tour for you. Again, I'll link those recommendations below. If you're going with someone who's into museums or it's a hot day and you need to get out of the heat, I recommend checking out some of their museums in town. If you love naval history, then you're going to want to explore Fort Sumter and Patriots Point. And then there's also the International African American Museum, and there are plantations outside of downtown to explore. I am a big fan of visiting aquariums, so I would recommend the South Carolina Aquarium to go visit, but that's just another nice like indoor activity you can do.
If you are anything like me, you probably feel your best after 3 days in the ocean. When you can't get to the ocean, reach for Osea, the skincare line that brings the power of the ocean to you. Hydrating seaweed and algae are the power players that leave your skin feeling nourished and glowy. Use code CWK10 to save 10% on your first order.
Now, for shopping, Charleston is a great destination to go if you're looking to shop. So you've probably heard about the Charleston City Market or King Street. These are two really popular destinations for people to go. The Charleston City Market is the #1 most visited attraction in the city. This market has over 300 entrepreneurs selling their goods throughout the year. So the next big thing is King Street. So King Street, wear your walking shoes because you're just going to want to walk the whole street and pop into all these different shops, especially if you're there with your girlfriend. One destination that you could go to is Candlefish, where you can pour your own candles. You can sign up for a class. If you are looking for someone who loves leather goods, I would go to Clayton and Croom. They have these really beautiful leather sunglasses straps. So definitely stop there first if you're planning to do some sort of tour on the water, because then you won't lose your sunglasses. One of my favorite small businesses that makes sundresses and bathing suits and matching, couples wear is Kenny Flowers, and their flagship store is located on King Street. I own a couple of their sundresses, and just they nail it every single time. And if you're like me and you love hosting, I definitely recommend going to the Savannah Bee Company. If I'm in town, I always stop and pick up some of their honeycomb because I love putting it on a charcuterie board. Stop by Marcia Magnolia, where you can design your own hat. You can set up a private event for 6 to 8 people. So what a fun keepsake from your trip. Now, if you're coming to Charleston and you're looking for some beach time, definitely keep these locations in mind. So Follies Beach, Sullivan's Island, Isle of Palm, Kiowa Island, Seabrook Island. So Kiowa Island is known for its golf courses. So if you love golfing, that's where you want to stay. I recommend visiting Folly Beach because it has 6 miles of beaches with public restroom, multiple locations. They have outdoor showers, dressing areas, a boardwalk, and even a seasonal snack bar. And you can rent gear there. So if you need like umbrellas or a chair, if you're not driving down to Charleston, then that's a good place to look. So when we're talking about walking around the city and some must-see places, we're just going to run through a couple of really popular destinations for photos. So one of them is Rainbow Row because it's a series of these beautiful Georgian homes that were painted brightly starting in the 1930s. So they're these kind of like pastel Easter egg colors. Another iconic location is the Pineapple Fountain, located at the Joe Riley Waterfront Park. So this location does get busy very early. It's a beautiful waterfront park, so you'll see a lot of runners there. So I would definitely recommend getting there before 10 a.m. to beat the crowds if you're looking to get photos. So another location is the Battery, which is the seawall that provides Charleston with protection, which dates back to the Civil War. So you'll see beautiful antebellum era homes dotting the shoreline, and that's honestly a great spot to stop and take some photos too. And if you love the water like I do, which I'm sure you do if you're listening to this podcast, the Ravenel Bridge is the one that connects Mount Pleasant and Charleston. The nice thing is that there's actually a pedestrian path over the bridge that you can take. So whether you're walking or you're cycling, it's a way to enjoy these really beautiful views of the Cooper River. And again, just get back and forth between different parts of the Charleston region. So if you are looking to do that pedestrian path, you can park at the Mount Pleasant Visitor Center or the Waterfront Park, which is near this walking path. So if you're looking for recommendations for where to stay, here's a couple hotels that you should look into. The Dewberry Hotel, even if you don't end up staying there, they have the rooftop bar, the Citrus Club, which has phenomenal views of the city. It's a beautiful way to see the skyline. It's the highest rooftop bar in the city, so obviously you have the most uninterrupted views. But it does fill up quickly, so you want to get there early and set a reservation. Another recommendation is the Charleston Place. This also has a rooftop pool bar that you can check out. The Ryder Hotel is another unique location. If you're looking to stay in Mount Pleasant, then you can look at the Charleston Harbor Resort and Marina, which has a lot of amenities like a private beach, pools, and a spa. So if you're looking for a spa day, that's definitely something to look into. And then there's obviously a lot of vacation rentals in the area. So again, that's in the blog post. So if you want more information, I have direct links to some vacation rentals that you can look into. Some of my favorite meals and cocktails have been while visiting Charleston, so I wanted to run through some places to eat. Some of my favorite breakfast spots in Charleston. I love Harkin Cafe and Bakery, which is a great spot to just grab coffee and a quick bite on your way to see the Pineapple Fountain and Rainbow Row. which is what I did with my sister when we were visiting. We also have Island Provisions, which there's a location both downtown and on John's Island, which they're great too because not only do they have dining options, but you can also stop there if you need, like, again, things for a charcuterie board, picking up a bottle of wine. They have kind of everything you need. The Sunrise Bistro is a great spot if you're in John's Island. And another thing about John's Island is it is home to the Angel Oak. So it's a perfect spot to stop before you head over to the park to see the Angel Oak. And it's stunning. It's this beautiful, just sprawling, the branches are draping on the ground. It's this, I have a reel about it, so I can link to that so you can see what it looks like, but totally, totally worth a little morning trip to go see the Angel Oak. It's just so beautiful. For lunch, Leon's Poultry and Oyster Shop absolutely has to be on your list. They have a low country spin on a lobster roll, which is their shrimp roll. They had phenomenal char grilled oysters. It was so, so good. If you're looking for something outside of downtown, the Tattooed Moose was really fun. They're known for their duck fat fries, and they're a really nice casual outdoor dining experience, LGBTQ friendly. For dinner, we had a really great time at the Well Hung Vineyard. This was great Italian food, and it's right near the Charleston City Market, so it can be a great place to go if you want to do the market and then head to dinner. They had a really nice wine flight, and they also have balcony seating if you want to take advantage of that. Back on John's Island, the Wild Olive was phenomenal. It was, oh my gosh, another Italian restaurant, but it was so, so good. And you're going to want to order one of everything on the menu. And then there's honestly, it's like kind of overwhelming how many places there are in Charleston, but definitely also go to an oyster bar. There's the Darling Oyster Bar. There's 167 Raw Oyster Bar, just so many places, but definitely, definitely get seafood while you're in Charleston. And if you're trying to figure out what to pack for Charleston, I do have a packing guide for that. I also have a free 48-hour guide to visiting the city of Charleston, and that is my quick take on Charleston. I hope that you get to visit soon, and if you have any questions about visiting the city, definitely just shoot me a DM, send me an email. I'm already looking forward to trying to plan another trip there soon. And I'm actually heading to Kiowa Island for a bachelorette party soon, so I will definitely get back to you on more specifics for visiting Kiowa, and I can't wait to talk more about Charleston soon and do a little bit more comparison between where I live now in Alexandria and Charleston, because we were considering moving to Charleston when we were trying to figure out where to move back to the East Coast after we were leaving Galveston. The next podcast, we will get into a little bit on what made us choose Alexandria over Charleston and some of the things that we were just thinking about when moving. If you enjoyed this episode, then please share it, like it, subscribe, leave a review. That's always helpful for me to understand what you're enjoying. And you can always leave suggestions. So you can always comment below the podcast. You can send me an email letting me know what you'd be interested in hearing more about, what destinations you're interested in seeing covered. And with that, thank you so much for tuning in, and I can't wait to see you next Thursday.